Part 3. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 21. Binghua had just entered the room and changed into loose clothes, then came to his weapons workshop to check the progress of material synthesis. I saw that the small room that was originally used to store sundries had completely changed its appearance at this moment. The 1-meter-high metal workbench in the innermost part was the molecular synthesizer. I saw pieces of bright silver metal being synthesized bit by bit, and then sent to a long metal table on the transport platform. The walls of this long table are covered with various small handheld tools, and on the opposite side are several machines that look like freezers. Binghua hummed an unknown tune and came to the table. On the table was a 1-meter-long bright silver blade, but it was only a semi-finished product. Because this 3-finger-wide horizontal sword does not have a sword crocodile or a hilt, it is the high-frequency weakly wave sword that Binghua has not yet completed. The theory of high-frequency wave knife has been confirmed by Binghua. Simply put, it uses ultra-high-speed vibration to weaken the molecular structure and weaken the links between atoms to achieve the effect of easily cutting off. However, how to concentrate this vibration on the blade so that it does not escape and how to supply energy are Binghua's current headaches. Because the energy consumed to maintain that level of high-frequency vibration is by no means a small amount. Is it necessary to install an energy storage device in the position of the sword crocodile? That would be too ugly, and it would feel like something assembled. If we want to use light energy drive technology, we can offset part of the energy consumption, but Binghua cannot get materials that can serve as weapon engines. If you were to calculate the light energy drive technology yourself, you wouldn't have enough computing power to start the electrical energy conversion algorithm and derive the formula, let alone engage in a fierce battle. Just when Binghua frowned and thought about how to solve this problem, there was a knock on the door. Hexi. Binghua opened the door and saw Hexi, whom he hadn't seen for a while, and quickly made room for Hexi to come in. I haven't seen you in a while. This house has changed a lot. As soon as Hexi entered Binghua's room, he couldn't help but vomit, because the room that was considered spacious for one person to live in now turned out to be a bit crowded. Should I complain about this habit of yours? Making so many weapons is useless. Even the defense of the third-generation super soldier cannot be broken. He 11 took an 8-sided Han sword from the sword stand, looked at it carefully and commented. I told you, it's just a hobby. It can be improved if there are better materials in the future, right? Binghua closed the door, poured a glass of water and handed it to Hexi, who was sitting on the bed, and then found a seat to sit down. Sister Hexi, why did you come to see me? What you said is a bit harsh. Can't I come and chat with you if I have nothing to do? He 11 crossed her legs and said with a smile, while taking a sip of water from the cup. With her blue eyes, no one could see clearly what she was thinking at the moment. Sister Hexi, we have known each other for so long, and you have helped me a lot, so if you have anything to say, please just say it without any worries. We have always been sisters, right? Binghua noticed that Hexi went out early and came back late during this period. If it weren't for something important, Binghua believed that Hexi, who had a somewhat lazy personality, would never be like this. I don't see things as clearly as you do, Binghua, but this matter involves too much, so I can't help but be careless. The smile on He 11's face disappeared, and the trace of concern in his blue eyes also disappeared without a trace. Huaya has transformed from a crown prince into a true king of angels. At the same time, he has inherited the latest scientific and technological achievements of the angel civilization, the second-generation divine body technology. He is more powerful and greedy than his father Huake. If you haven't left Melo Academy during this period, you may not know that Angel King City has been changed to Tiangong City by Huaye's order, and he himself calls himself Tiangong King. At the same time, Huaye also changed the laws restricting the subordinate civilization. The resource tribute period of the subordinate civilization was changed from 10 years to once every 5 years. At the same time, the most beautiful genetic resources in the ethnic group were also given to the king of Tiangong in exchange for his protection. Binghua also frowned when he heard these words. Although Binghua had only met Huaye once, he had a very deep impression on him. He is lustful, arrogant, but he is not a fool and will not act recklessly. This can be seen from the fact that Huaye left without saying a word after he 11 said those words last time. Binghua didn't care about the attached civilization. She was concerned about the status of female angels, because it also included herself. Sister Hexie, what about the female angels? It's not good. Kesha, Liang Bing, the three of us joined forces with other female angels with status to ask Huaye to allow female angels to have the same rights to genetic evolution and the right to join the military as male angels. However, Huaye rejected her mercilessly and said some unpleasant words to insult our sisters. She said that as weak women, we should become the vassals of the male angels and just please the men properly from now on. When he 11 said this, he said it through gritted teeth. He was obviously very annoyed and clenched his fists tightly. Binghua stood up and felt a headache. This was like the class struggle after the Industrial Revolution in the last generation on Earth. Female angels had nothing but themselves, force, and resources. They can only make demands or protests to Huaye, but these things are nothing to the real people in power. Not to mention Huaye, who has just ascended the throne and is very proud of his ambition. He must feel that everyone must surrender to him. If anyone disobeys, there will be thunderous retaliation. Then what should we do, Sister Hexie? Binghua couldn't think of any solution. It would be better to say that based on her experience, she couldn't think of how to solve such a difficult problem. Binghua, I have discussed it with Keisha and Liang Bing. We plan to establish our own military group of female angels. Only in this way can we be qualified to talk to Huaye on an equal footing. He 11 stood up and stared at the ice flower and said, his eyes seemed to be flowing with a kind of blazing flame. Binghua didn't know what Hexie meant by establishing a military group belonging to the female angels to gain the right to speak. However, this did not prevent Binghua from being willing to join Hexie's plan, because she was fed up with staying in Melo Academy every day. Binghua wanted to leave Tiancheng and see the magnificent endless universe, and the sisterly relationship with Hexie for more than 100 years made her unable to refuse. Since that day, Binghua has been pulled into a very special encrypted dark communication. Binghua discovered that there were many female angels here, including seniors from Mero Academy, scientific research officers from Tiancheng Academy of Sciences, and even some married female angels. Binghua discovered that the discussions among the female angels in this channel were filled with an inexplicable emotion, a sense of hope in the darkness. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 22. Number 001, Sisters, I am number 001. Now I need a batch of materials for flame-level weapons. Is there any sister who can get it? Number 253, I have a flame-level weapon that I can't use myself, but I'm willing to use it to support my sisters. Number 386, I am a scientific research officer of the Academy of Sciences. I have accumulated a small amount of red gold. Please provide the wormhole operation code and I will transfer it immediately. 001, thank you to sisters number 253 and number 386 for your support. Our business will be successful with everyone's support. Binghua would often take the time to read the secret messages in the encrypted channel given to her by Hexie. Each code in this channel represents a female angel. She may be a woman, a student, or a female scientific research angel. What circulates inside is all kinds of information and precious resources, just like the red gold provided by number 386, which is an important raw material for making flame-level weapons. He-11 would often come to talk to her about the construction progress of the military group plan. Binghua could tell that Hexi just came to talk to her, the only sister she trusted, in her free time because of the huge burden that was placed on her. Binghua couldn't give Hexi any advice. She was not a leader in her previous life, nor was she the person in charge of a large group. She was just a student who had never even set foot in society. Binghua had no idea how to build a military group, and the words that occasionally popped out of Hexi's mouth made her confused. For example, why is it so difficult to imagine the establishment plan of a space battleship dedicated to the female angel military group? What other styles of weapons are more suitable for female angel warriors, which can maximize the physical advantages of female angels, as well as armor material parameters and so on? These are all matters that He-11 needs to be responsible for, and this is also He-11's strength. He-11's knowledge is very profound, and his head is full of inspiration. He is more talented than some of the scientific research officers working in the angel civilization. Just like the last sword duel between Binghua and Hexi, it can be seen from the material micro-wormhole transport technology developed by Hexi to save time in getting dressed. I feel like my head is going to explode. Why do I still have so many tasks to complete? It feels like there is always endless research waiting for me. I want to grow flowers, I want to catch butterflies, I really want to lie on a deck chair and bask in the sun. He-11 lay on Binghua's bed and rolled around, rumpling the sheets into a ball, and his long silver hair was scattered on the bed. Binghua looked at He-11 who seemed to be acting like a child and felt a little funny. He-11, who usually looked so cool and cold, could have such a side. If the schoolgirls in the academy who admire He-11 saw him, they would probably think that he was dreaming. Sister Hexi, if you are too busy, you can leave the weapons to me. Upon hearing this, He-11 raised his head from the bed and said in surprise, "Why didn't I think of that? But Binghua, have you ever studied flame-level weapons?" "Don't worry about this. I have been studying flame-level weapons. Except that I have never made them myself due to lack of materials, I can say that I am very familiar with its structure." As he spoke, Binghua spread his palms in front of him, and as the air blurred, a bright silver exquisite dagger slowly emerged from it. "I didn't expect you to have such a good thing. You have been hiding it from even my sister and me." He-11 tapped his chin with his finger, and his eyes became dull as he thought about it, as if he was communicating with someone in the dark plane. "Binghua, since you have this ability, then I will give you this task that is related to the future of our sisters." He-11 put his hand on Binghua's shoulder and spoke solemnly. "Don't worry, Sister Hexi. I won't let you down." Binghua then asked Hexi if he had any requirements for female angel weapons. He-11 also talked about the current training status of female angel warriors. Because Binghua accepted the task of designing conventional weapons, Hexi told Binghua the headquarters of the female angels. Its location is in the Angel Nebula, the Merlot star in the Merlot star system, which is the headquarters of the Merlot Academy. The reason why the future base camp of the female angels will be set up in Merlot star is mainly because of Kesha and He-11's background. Kesha's father is the dean of Merlot College, and she has two daughters, Kesha and Liang Bing. Of course, she supports her daughter Kesha. And Hexi's father was also the previous chief scientific officer of Angel Civilization. Because he was busy with scientific research work, Hexi only had a daughter. This allowed Hexi to receive a good education since he was a child, and with the smart mind he inherited from his father, he could learn most technologies instantly. This is also the reason why Huaye, although he has coveted Kesha for a long time, has not forced her to come. However, Kesha's amulet will soon expire. When Huaye secures his position as the king of angels, no one will dare to disobey him, just like his father Huake. After receiving the weapon request from Hexi, Binghua began to think about how to complete this important task in addition to practicing sword skills. First of all, because they are all new recruits, the female angels must have weak combat experience, and the training time is not long. Because it is an army that focuses on coordination, weapons that focus on skills such as rapiers can be eliminated, and the only remaining option is the heavy sword. In fact, Binghua felt that spears and broadswords were suitable for beginners, but Hexi made it clear that he wanted sword-type weapons. When Binghua asked the reason, Hexi choked to death with one sentence. "Don't you think the sword looks beautiful when paired with a female angel? The spear and sword are so ugly." So Binghua designed the sword weapon as a broad-blade sword. Binghua had many swords of this type in his memory. A few days later, Binghua sent the broad-blade sword plan he designed to He-11. The style refers to the cross sword of the Angel Legion Praetorian Guard, but the blade is wider and the sword crocodile is more exquisite. But Hexi quickly dismissed it, saying it didn't look good, it was too ordinary, and there was nothing new at all. After that, Binghua would send plans to Hexi every few days for the sword shapes he had seen in his previous life, but they were all rejected. Binghua regretted taking this job. He felt that Hexi was really a difficult man to maintain, but he still worked hard to set up a plan that was both beautiful and practical. In the 12th year of the Tiangong calendar, Huaye, the king of Tiangong, set out to conquer the Sara civilization in the name of revenge for the previous angel king Huake. Huaye gathered most of the military forces of the Tiangong faction and soldiers from several affiliated civilizations in Tiancheng, forming a huge coalition, and rushed to the galaxy where the Sara civilization was located. Some expatriate kings with royal blood among the male angels are watching this war. If Huaye can easily overthrow the Sala civilization, then the little thoughts that arise in their hearts will naturally disappear without a trace. Otherwise, these foreign kings with the same surname Hua would not mind kicking Huaye off the throne and sitting on it themselves. Chapter 20 has been blocked. Does anyone know how to solve it? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 23. Huaye led the main force of angels on an expedition and took away the few third-generation super soldiers in Tiancheng. Perhaps for the sake of safety, Tiancheng's defense reached its lowest point in history. This gave Kesha the opportunity, and she began to secretly transfer some talented female angels from Marrow Academy in Celestial City to Marrow Star. It uses the ultra-long-distance insect portal transmission technology researched by Liang Bing, but this technology is not mature enough and has many shortcomings such as too many external devices, huge size, and energy consumption. It is just a building built in a hidden place in Merlot College. It will only start for a short period of time when precious materials and personnel are transferred. During this period, the shape of the large-scale weapons designed by Binghua for female angel warriors was finally determined. The final style is a wide-edged sword with the tip slightly larger than the sword body. It has a V-shaped sword guard, the overall length is about 1.5 meters, and the sword body is slightly wider than Binghua's hand. It is considered a heavy cold weapon. But for female angels who have generally reached the level of the first-generation super soldiers, this weight is nothing at all. There are reasons why it is designed like this. First, a wider blade makes it easier to block attacks, while the heavier tip is more conducive to slashing. Another reason is that the big sword has a relatively high tolerance for technical errors, making it easier for novices who have never practiced swordsmanship to use it. Now that the template for setting up the weapon is available, the next step is the function of the weapon. This is also the most difficult part of the flame-level weapon. But it was just a piece of cake for Binghua. She had spent more than 100 years studying the flame-level dagger in her hand and knew its operation very well. When Binghua was designing the internal structure of the flame-level weapon, Hexi got a small batch of red gold from somewhere. This made Binghua extremely happy. She had never received such advanced materials since she entered Maro Academy. As a result, Binghua fell into an inexplicable state of fanaticism. He didn't even go to Hexi's place to visit, and devoted himself entirely to the design of weapons. When he had the materials for the flame-level weapon, Binghua added some of his bold ideas to this heavy sword. First, Binghua programmed a very destructive genetic virus at the edge of the sword, which could weaken the defense capabilities of the super warriors, and then generate huge amounts of heat to destroy the super warriors' bodies. The sword spine uses a special stable structure to ensure that the sword body will not be easily broken, which greatly improves the hardness of the sword body. As for the sword crocodile, there is a groove where the weapon engine can be loaded. It is usually decorated with a red crystal filled with water droplets. If necessary, the weapon engine can be installed in this position. Because it is made of red gold as the main material, and no special processing is performed, the completed épée is a matte silver gray overall, but the blade has fiery red veins like red-hot steel. The blade is as red as flames. From today on, this weapon will be called the Flaming Sword. After the casting of Binghua was completed, she contacted Hexi to report the good news to her. Hexi also agreed with the name after seeing the finished product of the Flaming Sword. Because the sword lives up to its name, there is nothing more fitting for this great sword than the name Blazing Sword. Later, Binghua used the leftover materials from forging the flame sword to strengthen his unfinished high-frequency weekly knife, making its original silver blade glow with a faint red color. Especially after turning on the high-frequency mode, the blade will take on the color of red-hot steel like a flaming sword, just like a metal that is about to reach its melting point, but Binghua knows that this is just unprocessed red gold, a conventional it's just a reaction phenomenon. Time passed quickly while Binghua perfected her high-frequency weekly knife. Binghua began to come into contact with some forbidden knowledge that was not public in Melo College, which was knowledge that ordinary students could not learn. As for the source of knowledge, it comes from He-11, who has a former scientific research officer as his father. Among them, the knowledge that fascinates Binghua the most is stellar energy drive technology. This technology is used to power giant space battleships, which makes Binghua very envious. At the same time, Binghua had a hunch that as long as he mastered the use of stellar energy, this energy born out of stars would have extremely terrifying destructive power. At the same time, in the vast universe, as long as civilizations have mastered this technology, they no longer need to worry about the energy crisis. Because there are countless stars in the universe, it is not an exaggeration to call it infinite energy. However, the amount of knowledge on stellar energy driving technology is huge. Angel civilization alone has dozens of branches. Unfortunately, Binghua can only choose one of the branches to study, which is stellar energy gathering. Other technologies such as stellar energy extraction and stellar energy grafting are only used by large battleships. The amount of calculation required is terrifying, and Binghua cannot control it at all. So Binghua chose the star energy-driven branch, which Binghua himself felt was the most practical, to gather together for study. But even so, with the amount of calculations she has now as a first-generation super soldier, she cannot complete the calculations of stellar energy gathering technology alone. Another 10 years later, Hui Group achieved great victory in its expedition to Sala civilization, and Sala civilization was declared extinct. However, Hui Group's losses were not small, but at the same time some talented people emerged. For example, Sumari, who single-handedly massacred a colonial star of Sarah's civilization, was privately called the god of slaughter by some people. There are also super warriors such as Kunpeng and Su Tian who have defeated Sarah's beast body super warrior army. It can be said that although the Hui Group's expedition to Sala civilization suffered a lot, it also allowed the Tiangong King Hui to gain a large number of outstanding talents. The angel expatriate king who originally peaked at the throne temporarily gave up his little thoughts when he saw that Huaye was not as useless as they thought. However, the victory in the conquest of Sala civilization made Hua go to his head and made him become unscrupulous. In particular, the soldiers of the Tiangong group were extremely arrogant and domineering, and even openly arrested some ordinary female angels. As for the fate of these female angels, it goes without saying that it is very miserable. This kind of barbaric behavior, like uncivilized aborigines, makes many people unable to stand it. Some angel nobles even denounced Huaye's behavior of indulging his subordinates, but what they got in return was Huaye's ignorance. As for Hui, the king of the heavenly palace, he hangs out among women every day, hugging and hugging each other, leaving all his affairs to his subordinates, acting like a coward. Kesha banged her fist on the table and her beautiful eyebrows furrowed tightly, her originally beautiful face now filled with burning anger. What is Huaye trying to do? You can't treat us female angels as slaves. Catch us if you want. Sister, I'll build an insect door, let's go straight to the heavenly palace and kill that scumbag Huaye. Liang Bing also looked angry, but her words were more direct. Kesha, Liang Bing, calm down, we simply can't fight against Huaye and the others now. A female angel with the same blonde hair spoke. Ella is right, we can't act on impulse. He 11, the last person left in the room, spoke. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 24. Damn. That scumbag Huaye is riding on us, do we still have to tolerate it? Liang Bing cursed, stood up, opened his arms and questioned the three girls present, Kesha, Hexie and Ella. Kesha tried hard to calm down the anger in her heart, and then spoke. Liang Bing, how is the transformation of the remote insect gate completed? We still have a little finishing work to do. Sister, when will we stop being such cowards? After Liang Bing answered Kesha's question, she added another sentence. She hated this kind of life of swallowing her anger every day. Liang Bing felt like a big mountain was pressing on her body, which made her extremely uncomfortable. That's good. Hexie, how is the design work of the Tianren battleship completed? Kesha did not answer Liang Bing's words, but looked at He 11. The overall hull has been completed, and what remains is the design of the shipborne weapons, which will be completed soon. Hexie spoke calmly, the confidence in his words clearly revealed. Now all plans are in progress in an orderly manner. Our standard weapons have been designed and a small batch of finished products are now available. And our unique Skyblade battleship is about to be completed. By then we will fight against Huaye caught off guard, let him know that we female angels are not someone he can bully at will. Binghua recently received a communication from his father Yoni. As the previous commander-in-chief of the First Legion of Angels, Yoni resigned on his own initiative after Huaye ascended the throne and went to conquer Sala civilization and came back. He is now retiring at home. Yoni is not the only one like this. Many of the subordinates of the previous King of Angels were suppressed by the younger generation, either openly or covertly. Coupled with the connivance of the Heavenly Palace King Huaye, the power of the Angel Legion has begun to transfer to a new generation of male angels such as Sumari, Kunpeng, Suri, Chinbo, Xingyo, and so on. Yoni was her own daughter who contacted her after hearing that the order in Tiancheng had become a bit chaotic under Huaye's rule. Although Yoni wanted Hinghua to go home and leave Tiancheng, which had become a place of right and wrong, Hinghua refused. Binghua had a premonition that something big was going to happen in Tiancheng soon. At the same time, because Hexie needed her help and her inner expectations for an uncertain future, Binghua rejected the kindness of her father Yoni. The center of the celestial city, the original Angel King city, is now in the inner city called Celestial Palace. Come on, baby. Huaye was sitting on a brown sofa, hugging a female angel with long blonde hair and wearing a white gauze dress, playing with her. At the same time, there were two female angels standing behind the sofa and to the right of Huaye. Among them, the long-haired female angel with brown hair was standing there with a timid face, holding a plate of unknown fruit. Come here, it's you. Hua turned his head and raised his fingers with a lustful smile towards the timid female angel holding the plate. The brown-haired female angel carefully carried the plate and came to Hua's side. Unexpectedly, Hua stretched out her hand and took her into her arms. The brown-haired female angel was so frightened that she dropped the plate in her hand and let out a feminine scream. Hee hee. I just like a little beauty like you who dares to resist me. Hua hugged the struggling brown-haired female angel in his arms and laughed maliciously. Hua put on his dark blue full-body armor again, with silver-patterned edges engraved on it, and shoulder armor composed of several layers of armor. King. A stalwart male angel with a long brown back and wearing silver chainmail came over and bent down to salute. Hey! It's the rising sun. Come and see this scene. This entire city of angels now belongs to me. As you expected, we won this battle, and those old guys didn't even dare to fart. Hua was obviously in a good mood, with a proud smile on his face, and he looked high-spirited. King, we should still be careful. Although the older generation has resigned from the position of commander, they still have control over the angel legion. The male angel named Suri closed his eyes and spoke. Although he asked Hua to be careful, his words did not mean to take the older generation of angels seriously. Even if they want to do something, do they dare to openly defy me? If they are willing to stand out, I wouldn't mind letting them see how powerful the second-generation gods are. Hua's words were full of confidence. Looking at Hua like this, Suri thought to himself. This is the king I serve. Wang, there's one more thing I didn't mention before. There's something very wrong with the female angels at Merlot College recently. Hua turned around and asked. What's wrong there? I see those little beauties are still so pretty. I don't know where that girl Kesha went. I haven't seen her for a while, and to be honest I've wanted to hold her in my arms for a long time and take a good look at her beautiful body. When Hua touched the bar and spoke, all he could think of was Kesha's appearance, but the tone of his words was very obscene. King, Kesha is obviously avoiding you. She has gathered a group of female angels in Merlot Academy. I wonder what she is planning? Should we capture her? Hua waved his hand to tell Suri not to do this. Don't worry about those little beauties. No matter how many people there are, they can't make waves. When I'm free, I'll go and have fun with them myself. Hua faced the rolling sea of clouds again, placing his hands on the handrails on the edge of the platform in front of him, and his tone was no longer as casual as before. By the way, what happened to those disobedient subordinate civilizations? Reporting to the king, Sumari and Kunpeng have each led 10,000 angel legions to visit those civilizations. I believe they will make the right choice. Hua nodded with satisfaction, then turned back towards the towering palace gate and said at the same time. I'm very satisfied. From now on, I will leave all the affairs of Tiangong to you. Thank you my king. Suri bowed to Hua's back, then turned and left the Tiangong. Did you see it? The royal city is going to select a Tiangong maid to serve the Tiangong king. I saw it too, and I hope I'm not selected. I don't want to go there. A group of guys with no ambitions, as long as the king of Tiangong likes them, they will get whatever they want. Binghua sat alone at the qualification table in the restaurant and stopped eating while listening to the discussions of the female angels around him. Immediately, Binghua's eyes became dull, and he began to browse the shared dark information network of the City of Angels, and found a message that had just been released. It turns out that a notice was issued in the Heavenly Palace to select 3,000 female angels to enter the Heavenly Palace to serve the Heavenly Palace King Hua. However, there are conditions. First, the appearance must be outstanding, and the second priority is to choose female angels with good etiquette education. Binghua's eyes regained their radiance. What was Hua trying to do? Was he planning to have a harem of 3,000 beauties for his own amusement just like the ancient emperors? Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 25. While Binghua was sitting there thinking about Tiangong's announcement, two figures sat opposite her. Among them, Angel Qing was obviously not very interested and seemed worried, while Lan was standing by and seemed to be comforting her. "Qing, what's wrong with you?" "Binghua, I will be sent to the heavenly palace by my family to serve the heavenly palace king, Wu. I don't want to go there." Qing said that she no longer looked like her usual tomboy. She lay in the arms of Angel Lan next to her and sobbed softly, feeling sad for her unknown fate in the future. Binghua was silent. In the face of the established facts, any comfort was in vain. But it can only bring some comfort to the hearts of those involved. Something that Binghua thought had nothing to do with him at first had actually affected the people around him at this moment. Binghua felt as if something was stuck in her heart, and the originally bland meal became difficult to swallow. With the various actions of Hui Group, a new but hedonistic atmosphere was promoted. But this trend has an official name, which is Tiangong Order. Under this order, the status of female angels was further suppressed and turned into useless tools for male angels to enjoy. If female angels during the Huikui period had only a low status, then at this moment they are like female slaves who are driven at will. In the celestial palace, the corpses of female angels are carried out and burned by male angels every day. These are all angels who have dreams of being spotted by Huaya, the king of heaven, and turning pheasants into phoenixes, but the reality is very cruel. Male angels look down on such female angels at all, and any slight disobedience will result in execution. Not to mention the intrigues between female angels, and Huaya himself is also a monarch who likes the new and hates the old. This leads to the fact that in the heavenly palace, as long as female angels fall out of favor, it often means a miserable end. As Hyuka, who established the flame sword, the standard weapon for female angels, he also knew a little bit about the female angels' secret plans. Binghua went to ask Hexi, but the answer she got every time was to wait, the time was not yet ripe. So Binghua could only close off the collection of dark information from the outside world, live in his own world, and learn more knowledge. This may not be an escape. Binghua, who inherited the concept of gender equality in the harmonious society of the previous life, can't accept the suppression of women by the current palace order. But in fact, Binghua couldn't change anything. She had not forgotten her ambition 100 years ago, but she lacked the most important thing, and that was strength. To gain power, more knowledge was needed, so Binghua began to force himself to learn some knowledge that he was not originally interested in. Just like a hard drive that stores data, no matter whether there is useful knowledge or not, write it down first and then talk about it. Especially regarding the knowledge of supergenetic science, Binghua already felt that he had reached the limit of the first generation of super soldiers. What lay in front of Binghua was not a flat road, but a cliff with no peak visible. No one told Binghua how to go from there. Although the angel civilization has the precedent of Huaye's successful second-generation god-making project, no scientific research officer has ever studied how to evolve female angels into second-generation super warriors. However, supergenetics is a very time-consuming subject, and people without talent may not gain much from studying it for thousands of years. Binghua felt this way. This was the case in the database of Melo Academy. The information on how to improve the second-generation super warrior could not be read at all. It's like you are watching a wonderful movie, and when it reaches the climax, it suddenly tells you that you need to apply for VIP to continue watching. What is disappointing is that you do not have the ability to apply for VIP. Seeing that he could not gain anything in genetic science for the time being, Binghua turned to research Liangbing's micro-wormhole application technology. Liangbing was very happy and enthusiastic that someone was willing to study the technology of micro-wormholes with him. He lent his precious scientific research materials to Binghua without any reservation. Slowly, Binghua got mixed up with Liangbing, because Liang Bing didn't have the seriousness of Kesha, and with her straightforward personality without any scheming, Binghua felt very relaxed getting along with her. Let me tell you. The so-called wormhole is a tunnel that connects two different times and spaces. If we want to use it better, we must be familiar with its operating principles. Liang Bing had long brown hair draped over her shoulders, and her eyes were full of love and enthusiasm. She wanted everyone to study micro-wormholes with her. Binghua listened very seriously because she was very optimistic about the practical use of micro-wormhole technology. At the same time, Binghua also learned very quickly, because Liang Bing, a pioneer in the field of wormhole applications, prevented Binghua from spending a lot of time studying boring and useless data. Liang Bing's mastery of micro-wormhole technology, Binghua, thinks that he may never be able to catch up with her, but this is different from Liang Bing, who is on the road of how to make micro-wormholes faster. Binghua was thinking about another discipline included in micro-wormhole technology, which is the so-called space discipline. After asking Liang Bing many times for advice on the use of special micro-wormhole technology, Binghua began to study how to create his own private space. The first thing Binghua thought of was his own dark plane, but the workload was a bit heavy and Binghua was unable to complete the calculations for the time being. So Binghua set his sights on space. In Binghua's vision, since there is the so-called dark plane space, there are others such as the yellow plane space and the white plane space. Binghua's idea was to create a hole that could be closed at any time between other dimensions and reality, and put all the weapons he usually made in large quantities inside, and they could be moved out at any time when needed. However, this topic also requires time to accumulate, so in addition to sword practice and making weapons in the morning. After eating at noon, Binghua first started to learn about stellar energy drive technology, then went out to study his own independent space idea, and finally went to Maro College's database in the evening to read knowledge about genetic science. Binghua lived a fulfilling life every day, and even Binghua didn't go to Hexi's room opposite. Hexi complained for a while, saying that Binghua didn't even talk to him anymore. But one day something happened that brought Binghua back to reality from her world, because Kesha was openly captured by Huaya and brought back to the royal city. This made the female angels of Merlot College very angry, and some female angels even had physical conflicts with the angel guards. However, these female angels who took action because Kesha was captured were also captured by the angel guards and taken back to the heavenly palace. Binghua, who was not at the scene, didn't know the details. He only knew that King Huaya of Tiangong came to Melo Academy in person with a team of angel guards. He proposed to Kesha as a prince, but Kesha did not accept it, and then Kesha was knocked unconscious and taken away by Huaya. Because of this, a little fangirl named Ruaning, who often followed Kesha, blamed herself for not protecting Kesha well. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 26. Kesha's capture was like a bomb detonating in murky waters. As the leader of female angels, there is no need to say much about Kesha's followers. They may be any female angel, including those who enter the heavenly palace. Not long after Kesha was brought back to Tiangong Palace by Huaya, he 11, Ella and anxious Liang Bing received detailed news from the sisters in Tiangong. Kesha was imprisoned by Huaya in the leftmost palace of the Tiangong city, and 20 angel guards were assigned to guard her. I'm going to save my sister. Liang Bing, calm down. The heavenly palace is heavily guarded. Even with all our current strength, we can't save Kesha. We will only get ourselves involved. Ella is usually very calm, but now her tone is very stern. Are we just going to watch my sister being bullied by that scumbag Huaya? Liang Bing raised her fingers to the sky and stared at Ella with her eyes, as if Ella would risk her life if she said she wouldn't save her sister. Liang Bing, Ella is right, we will definitely rescue Kesha, but our power in Tiancheng is still too weak now, and we cannot forcefully break into Tiangong. He 11 raised his beautiful eyebrows and shouted to stop the stalemate between Liang Bing and Ella, and then expressed his thoughts. He 11, your relationship with my sister is so good, don't you agree to save my sister? Liang Bing, I just said that Kesha must be saved, but how to save her needs our careful study. Now there are not only the second generation god Huaye, but also the third generation super warriors Suri, Xingyo, and others in the celestial palace. Even 1,000 female angel warriors are not enough in front of the three of them. Liang Bing calmed down a little after hearing this, and sat on the chair behind him and hit the table. Is this all we can do and watch? As he spoke, Liang Bing uttered 2 more curse words to cover up the anxiety and worry in his heart. It's not like there's nothing we can do. Ella gently stroked her smooth chin opening with her fingers. Any solution? He 11 and Liang Bing spoke at the same time. Just lure Huaye and others out of Tiancheng, and then organize a group of sisters to use Liang Bing's long-distance insect gate to directly attack the palace where Kesha is imprisoned. That way we only have to face 20 soldiers of the angel guards. As long as we move quickly enough, we can evacuate before Huaye and the others come back. Ella put down her fingers that were stroking her lower ones, her eyes filled with confidence in her plan. But Ella, how can we lure Huaye and others out of the Tiangong royal city? Unlike Liang Bing who was happy, he 11 asked about the most difficult part of this plan. We don't need to worry about this. Some people are happy to make Huaye suffer, but we also have to pay a certain price. Ella's face looked a little heartbroken when she said this. It was obvious that the price she said was very precious to the female angel. Light screens formed by various calculation formulas floated in front of Binghua. One of the screens was displaying a ball of violently fluctuating energy. It was very unstable and seemed likely to explode at any time. Just when Hexie's communication request came through the dark communication, Binghua fiddled with the data for a moment, and then stopped the calculations on the screen. Sister Hexie, why did you suddenly send me a message tonight? While talking to Hexie on the phone, Binghua walked out of his small workshop and came to the bedroom where countless wooden racks of weapons were placed. He lay on the bed and used this moment to relax his body slightly. Binghua, I believe you have heard about Kesha being taken away by Huaye. I heard about it, but I wasn't there at the time. I only found out about it by listening to the female angels around me talking about it. This happened 2 or 3 days ago. Huaye didn't know why he broke into Melo Academy and took Kesha away. However, this incident has made the female angels collectively angry, and my sister has never told you that Kesha is the initiator of our female angel military group plan. This is indeed beyond my expectation. If all the founders are arrested, then how can we talk about establishing our own military group? How can a military group that cannot even protect its own leaders win enough voice for female angels? Binghua, who had his eyes closed, suddenly opened them and said, this news is actually a bit exciting. In Binghua's impression, Kesha was like an approachable big sister. Even when she spoke, she was extremely gentle, without any dignity or airs as a leader. Binghua, you are right. Now I need your help to rescue Kesha. After Kesha escapes from the heavenly palace, it is time for us to make our voices heard to all male angels. Hexie's words were filled with a sense of determination and a sense of relief after taking off the burden. Because all the patience and indifference will be discarded after rescuing Kesha, Hexie feels that he can finally make a choice of his own will. Sister Hexie, how can I help you? Binghua sat upright on the bed, feeling a little excited inside. She closed off her information collection from the outside world just to wait for this moment to come. But in this excitement there is also a hint of worry about future fate. It's not convenient for me to tell you more details at the moment. You go to the hall at the coordinates of 12.554.86 tomorrow afternoon, and I will tell you personally then. Okay Sister Hexi, I will definitely go when the time comes. Binghua hung up the call and couldn't calm down for a long time. She felt that she was participating in a big event, so she put aside her worries for the time being and felt happy in her heart. But what Binghua doesn't know is that political struggles for the right to speak often turn into wars to determine the final winner. The next night, Binghua came to the place agreed with Hexi, in a relatively empty hall. White bricks cover the floor and walls, and several white stone pillars support the dome of the hall. The light from the dome glass reflects bright spots on the floor. At this moment, including Binghua herself, there were 100 female angels standing here in this hall. Binghua found that there were some unknown faces around him, but they were all female angels, and their faces were cold and silent. Even the standing position is very neat, and at the same time, unlike Binghua himself, he doesn't keep looking around randomly. Because it was quiet, Binghua didn't speak until a burst of footsteps broke the peace in the hall. 3 figures walked over from the side of Binghua. They were He-11 and Liang Bing, who had changed their costumes, plus a female angel whom Binghua didn't recognize. Hexi was wearing a silver armor that was not too flashy. This was the first time Binghua had seen this set of armor. The entire armor includes a breastplate, 2 pieces of shoulder armor, arm guards, several pieces of skirt armor on the lower body, knee pads, and high-heeled combat boots. The overall armor only has simple decorative patterns, and the color is a dull silver that is non-reflective, protecting most of the vital points and joints on the body. I finally exceeded 300 collections, which feels really hard. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 27. Sisters, I believe you all already know the purpose of coming here. Ella stood between He-11 and Liang Bing, with long golden hair spread over her shoulders. Her blue eyes under the golden oblique bangs on her forehead looked down at the hundreds of silent female angels below. You are all sisters who have performed well in training. It can be said that you are the most elite group of female angel warriors on Marrow Star. The purpose of gathering you here is to rescue the guide of our female angels from Huaya, that is, Kesha, who will become the leader of our female angel army in the future. You said our legion commander was captured by Huaya, how can we not save him? As soon as Ella finished speaking, the female angels below shouted together, no. No. Ella nodded with satisfaction and gave up her position. Hexi on the left took a step forward. Next, I will explain the battle plan to the sisters. Sisters equipped with flame-level weapons, please come forward first. As soon as He-11 finished speaking, 19 female angels walked out of the queue neatly and stood at the front of the queue. Binghua, you also come out. Binghua was stunned for a moment, but because of the atmosphere at the scene, Binghua didn't ask any more questions. Yiyan walked out of the queue and came to the front of the queue, standing together with the 19 female angels who had come out before. Now let me explain our action plan. First, let me block the spread of dark information here. He-11 raised his right hand, and a wave invisible to the naked eye suddenly spread and filled the entire hall. Binghua found that his connection to the dark plane was disturbed, but it was not too strong, but he was unable to receive Tianquan's public dark information data stream. Okay, now no one who is worried about Huaya is peeking in here. After speaking, Hexi waved his hand in the void in front of him, and a huge light screen formed by dark energy appeared in mid-air. The light screen displayed a map formed by countless lines. Binghua took a closer look and discovered that it was the Angel King City, which is now the palace of King Huaya. The map is very detailed, including the main hall and the test hall, including some of the residences of the maids and guards who served Huaya in the Tiangong King City. Hexi stretched out his finger and pointed at the palace in the upper left corner of the map and said, "This is where Huaya will imprison Kesha, our future legion commander. There are a total of 22nd generation super soldier level angel guards guarding it. and your mission is to quickly attack the palace through the insect gate built by Liang Bing after Huaya and several of his generals leave Tiancheng. What I want to tell you is that we don't have much time. The dark information blockade can only last for 15 minutes at most. Hexi said while pacing on the high platform with a serious look on his face. If we haven't rescued the target Kesha when the time comes, then we will wait to face the wrath of the Tiangong King Huaya. I believe that none of the sisters present are willing to face the wrath of a second-generation god, because we have no power to resist. After he 11 said the above words, he signaled Liang Bing to start explaining the part she was responsible for. Ahem, I'm Liang Bing, I believe most of the sisters here know me. Naturally, as her sister, I will not stay out of the rescue of Kesha. Tonight, I will open a bug door here that leads directly to the palace where my sister Kesha lives. I wonder if Liang Bing has become very casual without Kesha's restraint. Her words and deeds are not as rigorous as he 11's and Ayla superior. When the time comes, all you have to do is rush over and hum him hard. Okay, I'm done with what I have to say. Liang Bing retreated to Ella's right side. Liang Bing, who was very worried about his actions tonight, was unwilling to continue talking and began to calculate the insect gate algorithm in his mind. Okay, I believe the sisters already have a rough idea of what to do tonight. Now, led by the 20 sisters at the front of the queue, a 5-person team was formed. The next moment, 4 female angel warriors stood behind Binghua and the other 19 female angels beside him. Ella was very satisfied looking at the female angel below who only took a few dozen seconds to complete the queue. Our female angel corps has been established for too short a time, and our standard flame-level weapons cannot be used by everyone due to the lack of raw materials. However, your sisters at the front all have their own flame-level weapons. When the time comes, a team of 5 will be responsible for dealing with those guard-level male angels. The sisters with flame-level weapons are the killers in the team. They are responsible for giving you a fatal blow when you entangle the male angel guards. Ella then mentioned some precautions, all of which were theoretical scenarios that might happen, because no one present had any experience fighting male angels. After more than 10 minutes, Ella finally finished her long speech, but no one present felt that Ella was talking nonsense, because it was also for their own good. Now there are 5 people in a team. Get acquainted with the sisters on the same team and build a better understanding as soon as possible. After Ella said these last words, she walked to the corner of the hall with Hexi and Liang Bing to discuss something. Binghua gathered with the other 4 female angels on her team and began to introduce herself. Hello sisters, I am Angelan, from the colonial planet of Amelo. First, a short-haired female angel with silvery gray hair smiled and introduced herself. My name is Ching, and Lycan, I'm from the Amy Luo star. The blonde female angel Kinja beside Angelan introduced herself. The remaining 2 brown angels also introduced themselves immediately. The one with a ponytail was named Xia, while the one with neat short ear-length hair was named 11. My name is Binghua, from Angel Star. After Binghua introduced her, she was amazed by the other female angels in the same team, because most of the female angels from Angel Star had unusual identities. By the way, Binghua, you were called to the front line by He 11 just now. Do you also have a flame-level weapon? Angelan spoke curiously, and the other 3 angel sisters also cast curious glances. Binghua was not a stingy person. He flipped the wormhole with his palm and took out his flame-level dagger. Is this a flame-level weapon? Apart from being more beautiful, it doesn't feel any different from our current standard weapons. Angelan spoke a little disappointedly. It was obvious that the appearance of the flame-level weapon did not meet her expectations. A flame-level weapon is also a weapon. Of course, its appearance is similar to an ordinary weapon. But the reason why it is called a flame-level weapon is because it can cause great damage to super warriors and injuries that are difficult to heal. Binghua explained immediately, and nodded in understanding. At this time, Hexie's secret communication sounded in Binghua's mind. Sister Hexie. Binghua, come here, I have something to give you. Okay. I'll go there now. Binghua said hello to his teammates and turned around to walk towards where he 11 was. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifen Si Wang. Chapter 28. Binghua came behind He 11 and saw He 11, who was dressed in military uniform and armor, turned around. A faint smile appeared on the face of the cold sister under the long silver parted hair. Binghua, I'm glad you didn't refuse this operation. By the way, I specially prepared a pair of Angel Warrior armor for you, and I will give you the transportation code now. Then Hexie transmitted a micro-wormhole transport calculation code, and then Hexie put his hands on Binghua's shoulders and looked directly into Binghua's dark eyes. Binghua, although I believe in your strength, I promise you that you must be careful during this rescue operation. Don't worry, Sister Hexie, I will definitely be careful. Binghua nodded. Hexie didn't say anything more, patted Binghua on the back and simply turned around and left. Binghua then returned to the team, and then Binghua and Angelin and others on the same team introduced what they had learned to each other. Binghua discovered that apart from himself, Angelin, Angel Qing, Angel Xia and Angel 11 were very proficient in the flight algorithm of angel wings, and all they had learned were extremely simple swordsmanship. After discussing with Hyoka, she learned that the status of ordinary female angels in society is very low. For example, Angel Qing, who was born in Amy Luo Star, started learning etiquette when she was born. She had no access to scientific and technological knowledge, let alone learning. When Angel Qing grew up, she was forced by her father to marry a male angel who had already taken 2 wives. Later, Qing escaped from Marrow Star for some reasons, and accidentally followed the transport ship to Marrow Star. Finally, she joined the female angel military group established by the Kesha Project and became a glorious female angel warrior. For example, Angel Qing learned the micro-wormhole transport technology and the flight algorithm of angel wings during his training on Mellow Star. He only knows how to use it but does not know its principles. Even while testing Binghua's tone, he discovered that Angel Qing and other female angels could not even enter the dark plane space, let alone start the genetic engine to import calculation formulas. This discovery cast a shadow over Binghua's heart, because it meant that the overall strength of female angels was lower than expected. Just as Binghua was thinking about the strength ratio between female angels and male angels, Angel Qing, Angelin, Angel Xia, and Angel 11 were discussing the battle plan, which mainly involved dividing the main attack and flank harassment personnel. As for this tactic, it is actually imitated from the basic tactics of the male angel legion. In the male angel army, the basic combat mode is a small team of 4, one person is responsible for overseeing the overall situation and commanding in the dark, the other 3 are responsible for attacking from the front to attract firepower, one is harassing on the flanks, and the last person is responsible for secretly look for opportunities to make a sneak attack. In order to compete with the team of male angels, the female angels who had no war experience formed a 5-person team. However, the angels do not need to separate one person to command in secret, because Hexie's optimized dark message algorithm allows the 5 female angel warriors to flexibly communicate tactics at any time. In the dark city, it was impossible to tell whether it was night or day with the naked eye, but as Ella shouted gather from the high platform. The female angels who were originally gathered together in groups below quickly lined up and stood up, 5 in a row, a total of 20 rows, and no one stood in the wrong position. After receiving the news from the sisters in the Heavenly Palace, the Heavenly Palace King Huaya just led his subordinate Suri to leave the Heavenly City, and led the fleet to the Samar star system to meet with the expatriate Wang Huasui to discuss the ownership of the Samar star. But sisters, these are not important. What is important is that our opportunity has come. Now you are all here, put on your armor, pick up your swords, and get ready for battle. Ella stood on the high platform and shouted. At the same time, she poked her arm into the wormhole on one side, and the next moment she took out the flaming sword with the red blade. The hundreds of female angel warriors below simultaneously activated the material micro-wormhole transport technology. Binghua also calculated the material micro-wormhole transport code that He-11 had previously transmitted to him, and the next moment blazing red armor lines appeared on Binghua's body. Pieces of silver but non-reflective metal armor were carried out of the wormhole, and then attached tightly to Binghua's body. Finally, there was a helmet with a bunch of red tassels on it. At this moment, Binghua and the other female angels around her were wearing red cherry helmets, silver armor, and metal high-heeled combat boots. Immediately afterwards, there was a crisp sound of metal like a long face being unsheathed, and all the angels used micro-wormholes to transport their weapons. The 20 people at the front of the queue, except for Binghua, carried out flaming swords with frosted silver-gray sword spines and red veins on the blades. What Binghua carried out was his own high-frequency weekly sword that took several years to build and added a part of red gold. It can also be called a single-edged sword. The weapon carried out by the female angel behind the first row was an alloy heavy sword that was exactly the same as the flaming sword without the red veins on the blade. A group of beautiful angels in the hall were instantly transformed into neat and solemn warriors holding weapons. The contrast was not huge. However, this contrast satisfied He-11, Ayla and Liangbing above, because this is what a warrior still looks like. Ella seemed to have received some news and nodded to Liangbing to indicate that it was time to start. Sisters, the sisters on the other side of the heavenly palace have already set up the equipment, now let's make a big fuss. Liangbing, who had spent 2 or 3 hours calculating the insect sect data, had already been holding back a fire in his heart, and saw Liangbing spreading his arms to both sides. The originally empty air suddenly became distorted, and the space within 5 or 6 meters became blurry. On one side, Liangbing shouted. "What are you waiting for? Get out of here!" Ella and Hexie spread their wings behind their backs without saying anything and flew into the wormhole. Binghua and the other female angels around her did not hesitate and immediately spread their angel wings. The two teams flapped their wings together and rushed into the insect door opened by Liangbing. Binghua was the last angel team to rush into the insect gate. In front of him was a twisted and blurry space, and Binghua ran into it without fear. The scene around him changed in the next moment, and Binghua felt as if he had turned over a page of painting, moving from one painting to another. The sight of hundreds of female angel warriors in armor and red cherry helmets fanning their angel wings neatly arrayed in the sky is a spectacular sight. The 20 male angel guards on the opposite side also reacted. Someone had invaded the Tiangong city. Dark information dissemination blocking algorithm activated. He-11 flapped his wings and floated in front of the angels, his eyes became dull, and at the same time, a wave of waves swept across a radius of more than a kilometer. "No, we can't contact General Xingyo," one of the male angels yelled. "Why are you panicking? They are just a bunch of women who have never seen blood. Are you afraid of them?" A male angel with brown hair said disdainfully. He found that all he could see were white thighs, which almost dazzled him. "That's right, I have been pent up for a long time by guarding a peerless beauty who can only be looked at but not touched every day. Today, these girls came to my door, just to let the brothers vent their anger." While the male angels were talking, they also spread out their white wings on their backs and flew into the air to confront the female angels. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 29. While the male angels were discussing some obscene topics, the female angels followed He-11 and activated the dark message shielding, and Ella issued an attack order. The male angel opposite could afford to wait, but the female angel who came to save people couldn't afford to wait. If Huaye's General Xinyo, who is the third-generation super soldier, comes, then what awaits the female angels will be a massacre. The female angel warrior remained silent, fluttering her wings and raising the sword in her hand like a shooting crossbow arrow towards the male angel guards on the opposite side who were in a defensive formation. Don't be careless. Although there are a group of women on the opposite side, there are too many of them. Pay attention to each of them. Don't be embarrassed and die in the hands of a woman. The leading officer among the 20 Imperial Guards reminded them, and then gave instructions. Team of 4, form a defensive formation, don't let these women break through and enter the palace. As the guard captain finished speaking, 4 male angels wearing silver chainmail and holding silver cross swords gathered together, covering each other and hovering in place to stare at the charging female angel warriors. Ella, who was responsible for protecting He-11, looked at the scene and thought in her heart. Although the atmosphere of angel civilization has been distorted by Huaye, and male angels are addicted to hedonism, the most elite angel guards have not lost their most basic tactical qualities. The sisters holding the flaming swords should look for opportunities. The other sisters should come together and break through their formation. Ayla protected He-11 and was also responsible for directing the overall battle. When she found that the male angel was in a defensive posture, she immediately gave the order. All the female angels shouted yes together in the dark communication channel. Binghua was also one of the angel warriors holding flaming weapons, unlike her sisters who had flaming weapons and their flying speed started to slow down and lag behind the main force. Start the light and shadow deflection algorithm. Start calculating the surrounding light distribution. The calculation has been completed. Now start the light and shadow refraction algorithm and set the range to itself and the high frequency knife. Countless pixels like small squares appeared on the flying Binghua, and then her figure slowly became transparent and blended into the surrounding scenery. Except for the somewhat unnatural light distortion, Binghua seemed to be invisible, blending in with the flying female angels. The distance of hundreds of meters only takes 2 or 3 seconds for the female angel to fly and charge quickly. The next moment, the female angel holding the sword collided with the defensive formation of the male angel guards. A female angel held a silver alloy heavy sword and struck the male angel warrior in front of her with a faint smile on her head. However, the heavy sword in the female angel's hand was easily blocked by the cross sword in the male angel's hand, and where the two collided, a small gap appeared in the sword blade in the female angel's hand. The next moment, the hand holding the sword of the male angel shook, and the épée of the female angel was shaken away, and then he stabbed very cleanly. The cross sword, the standard flaming weapon of the angel guards, easily penetrated the armor on the female angel and penetrated her delicate body. A splash of scarlet is like a beautiful wildflower blooming in mid-air, reflecting the male angel's face that seems to be grinning. The female angel, whose abdomen was pierced by the cross sword, was like a bird with broken wings, dragging a faint bloodline from the sky to the ground. Scenes like this were happening everywhere, with female angel warriors falling from the sky like dumplings. In an instant, the dark communication channel was filled with countless cries of sadness. Because of the huge casualties in that instant, even the momentum of the female angel's charge was stopped. Ella was also stunned when she saw this scene. These are all living lives, but Ella still made up her mind and gave the order. Don't stop. If you can't break them, hit me with your body, and break their defensive formation. Only by dividing them can we have a chance to win. This time, the female angel warriors no longer suppressed themselves. They shouted loudly and rushed into the defensive formation of the male angels with red eyes. Damn! These girls are so fierce. Aren't you afraid of death? A man stabbed straight out with a long sword in his hand, but the female angel rushing towards him was like a dazed young woman who refused to dodge. Phew! The female angel's breastplate was pierced by the cross sword, and the blood-stained sword blade came out through her back. However, the female angel clenched her silver teeth, stretched out her arms to hold the male angel's sword-holding arm, and vigorously fanned the wings behind her back to blow this. A slightly stunned male angel guard launched a defensive formation. The companions of the male angel guards wanted to rescue, but the several alloy heavy swords slashing at them effectively prevented their rescue actions. "You bitch, let me go." The male angel who was pushed out of the formation instantly became the target of the surrounding female angels. From all directions, there were female angel warriors slashing at him with their swords with hatred and hatred. However, the cross sword of the male angel guard was still in the body of the female angel in front of him and could not be withdrawn at all. He was unable to effectively fight back and could only drag the female angel in the way to avoid it. But in just a few seconds, the space for the male angels to hide was sealed because there were too many female angel warriors around. Several alloy heavy swords slashed at the male angel guard, causing him to grunt a few times in pain. However, after reaching the second-generation super soldier, his body was as hard as steel. The alloy heavy swords in the hands of the surrounding female angels could only split the chainmail of the male angel guards. "Ha ha ha, the broken weapons in your hands can't kill me." The male angel guard discovered that the weapon in the female angel's hand could not hurt him, and he laughed wildly. The female angel warriors surrounding him looked at each other and nodded, then stretched out their arms to clamp down on the male angel guard's arms, throat, and thighs. It looked like there were 4 female angels hanging on this male angel. The male angel naturally struggled hard. The huge force made the female angel who tried his best to clamp her feel that his arm was in great pain and seemed to be about to break, but they just endured the pain. "Never let go." The female angel warrior who has been waiting for the opportunity for a long time, holding the flaming sword, can finally avenge her sisters who were killed just now. With the wings on her back fluttering, the female angel warrior holding the flaming sword shouted with all her strength, raised her sword and sprinted forward. The restrained male angel guard could only watch as the flaming sword with the red-veined blade pierced his heart. Phew! The sound of the sword cutting into flesh was heard, and the flaming sword easily penetrated the male angel's body as hard as steel. A burst of red energy escaped from the red blade of the flaming sword that penetrated the body of the male angel. The supercells that had been enhanced by genetic technology began to collapse and shrink, unable to perform their original super healing abilities. The eyes of the female angel holding the sword became bloodshot and red under the helmet, and her face became distorted. She pushed the flaming sword forward with all her strength. The male angel's heart had been damaged by the flaming sword. As the blade penetrated his flesh again, he rolled his eyes in pain. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 30. The male angel's hand holding the sword loosened, and his head tilted completely out of breath. The several female angels holding his body quickly dispersed and flew towards the female angel who had previously tightly grasped the male angel's sword-holding right hand, and in catching her before she hit the ground. When these female angels caught this companion, they found that she had long since lost her life, but her red-stained armor and stomach and wide-open blue eyes seemed to still be telling her of her firm belief in never letting go. A female angel with tears in her eyes stretched out her palm and gently pushed the wide-open eyes of her companion in her arms closed. Then he reached out and pulled out the cross sword that penetrated the abdomen of his companion, and then gently placed her body on the grass on the ground. Then she whispered, "I will avenge you." Then this female angel held the cross sword equipped by the angel guards, soared into the sky and joined the chaotic battle group in the sky with her surrounding companions. "How's Ella doing?" Liang Bing suddenly appeared from the insect gate, flapped his wings and hovered next to Hexi and Ayla and asked. "It's not very good. Our casualties are very heavy, but you came just in time, Liang Bing. Now the palace guards are attracted to us. You quickly create an insect door that leads directly to the interior of the palace to save your sister Kesha." Ella stared at the battlefield carefully, and at the same time spoke to Liang Bing beside her. "Okay, I understand. I'll start calculating immediately." Liang Bing nodded, raised his hands, closed his eyes, and began to quickly calculate the spatial medium and wormhole particle dispersion data here. Binghua was like an assassin hiding in the void, carefully avoiding his companions around him, and followed his team to fly towards a place where 4 angel guards gathered together for defense. Although Binghua felt very uncomfortable about the heavy casualties and the actions of the female angels around her, as well as the actions of exchanging lives for lives, she still forced herself to calm down. Because this is not the usual sword practice, just give up if you can't beat it. This is a battlefield where you can die at any time, either you or me. Although she felt uncomfortable with the blood splashing around her, Binghua suppressed this feeling and sneaked towards the place where the male angels gathered. In the private dark communication channel dedicated to Binghua's team, Binghua revealed a plan. You will attack a male angel later and push him out of the formation. As for the other 3 male angels, let the sisters around you hold them back. The 4 angel and girls who were flying in the same direction said at the same time, yes. Then he aimed at a male angel guard who looked the most unpleasant and rushed over. Hee. Here comes another girl who wants to die. Brothers, please pay attention later. I'll block her and you take the opportunity to kill her with one sword. The tone of this male angel was very casual, and the other companions around him also answered happily. Don't worry, killing these angel bitches is easier than killing chickens. After the battle is over, I will find a few who are not dead and have a good time. Angel and the 3 girls flew forward in a line according to Binghua's suggestion, while Angel 11 climbed up into the sky. The leading angel slashed down fiercely with his sword, making a roaring sound through the air. The male angel repeated his old trick of blocking with a horizontal sword. He and his companions had already killed 3 female angel warriors in this way. But this time he was dumbfounded, after the male angel easily blocked the alloy heavy sword that was slashed by an. Angel Qing and Angel Xia sprang out from both sides behind Angel An, raising their swords and stabbing at extremely fast speeds. Here you come. Brothers, cover me. But at this moment, the male angel's companions were all entangled by other female angel warriors and couldn't get away at all. So the male angel saw that no one could help him, so he could only push away Angel An's heavy sword, and then struck the 2 alloy heavy swords that were thrust straight at him with one sweep of the long sword. Get out of here. Angel 11 suddenly swooped down from above the male angel, and kicked the male angel guard in the face with a fierce flying kick from the metal high-heeled boots on his feet. The force of the flying kick mixed with the dive was so great, and there was no way to borrow any force in the air. The male angel guard was directly kicked out of the defensive formation of a group of 4 by Angel 11. Immediately afterwards, Binghua's 5-person team ignored the other 3 male angel guards in the defensive formation, passed them and surrounded the lone male angel guard. Turning on its light and shadow refraction algorithm, Binghua, who became transparent, saw that she and the female angel in her team had successfully separated a male angel, and immediately rushed over. Angel Qing, Angel 11 you harass from both sides, Angel An, Angel Xia you alternately cover and attack from the front, be sure not to let him have the ability to counter-attack. As the most laid-back person in the team, Binghua took the initiative to take over the commanding job. She remembered that when she was young, she had a sword duel with her 2 brothers. The 2 of them relied on this simple tactic to make her suffer a lot suffering. Clear. The 4 women immediately dispersed. Angel Qing and Angel 11 flapped their wings and flew in an arc around the left and right wings of the male angel guard. On the front, Angel An and Angel Xia were one behind the other, holding alloy heavy swords tightly in their hands and rushing toward the male angel guards who were staring at them with swords. As expected, Angel An's sword was easily blocked by the male angel's horizontal sword. Just as the male angel had just pushed away the heavy sword in Angel An's hand. Angel Xia rushed out from the left side of Angel An, holding the sword in her right hand that had been charging up for a long time and slashing it out horizontally. Although this horizontal cut is simple, it is very skillful in Xia's hands. In fact, Most female angel warriors do not know too fancy sword skills. What they learn is chopping and swinging. This is the simplest and most practical sword trick. The male angel quickly stopped chasing Angelan, barely avoiding the sharp sword tip. And when Angel Xia's chest was slashed and the door opened wide, Angelan, who had been knocked back before, had already adjusted his body shape in this moment, and struck down on the head with another sword. It seems that Angelan has an inexplicable paranoia about one move, and always likes to use the heavy sword in his hand to chop the enemy's forehead. Although the cooperation between Angelan and Angel Xia is not perfect, basic alternating attacks can still be achieved. Although they cannot take down this male angel guard, they can suppress it in a short time. A few seconds later, just when the male angel had slightly adapted to the attack rhythm of the two women and was preparing to counterattack, Angel Qing and Angel 11, who were walking around to both sides, also joined the battlefield. In an instant, the male angel's condition became precarious. He felt extremely aggrieved and unable to speak out. You must also pay attention to all directions at all times, otherwise a female angel will suddenly appear and charge with a sword. However, even with 1 against 4, this male angel was not defeated, he was just suppressed a little miserably. Apart from the cut silver chainmail and some healed skin, this male angel had nothing wrong with him, and his blocking was impressive. But what he didn't know was that his god of death had already arrived here, waiting for the destiny to take his head. The male angel blocked the alternating attacks of the 4 female angels, while being knocked back by the huge impact of the collision of the weapons. Ha ha ha, beauties, I'm used to your attack methods. Let's see how I deal with you in a while. The male angel deliberately blocked Angel and sword that struck again, and at the same time, his body moved to one side to avoid Angel 11 who was charging with his sword. Angelan, who was holding the sword and pressing down with all his strength, was not angry when he heard the words of the male angel opposite him. Instead, he showed a sympathetic smile. Look behind you, your death has come here. A subtle vibration and buzzing sound suddenly sounded in the air at this moment. The male angel was stunned for a moment, and before he could turn around, a faint red arc appeared from the void and slashed past his neck. Binghua's figure appeared in the blurred air. She turned around and kicked the male angel's head away from his neck. Then I saw Binghua swinging his left hand and a silver ornate dagger flew out, piercing the middle of the eyebrows of the head with an unbelievable expression on his face.